Régis. Looking back at last weekend, time to no doubt reflect and watch the game again. Great result and not too many criticisms, I suppose, from your point of view. But when you look back at it, what was good and what was bad from your perspective?
We are always really demanding with the group and the players. So good, probably we were consistent in our style of play. I think this togetherness we had last season was really key for the start, and I think we showed this consistency, especially out of possession. We were strong, hard to beat, and we still have this possibility in our game to create counter-attacks, fast attacks, and to be efficient as well on set pieces. So this part was really positive. After that, we have many details to improve in many phases.
Got the impression from all the players as individuals, they look very comfortable in their own skins, playing at that level.
Yes, for the Premier League opener. So at least for this fixture, it was the case. But from the beginning, I think the connection with the squad went well. From I think a human perspective, but from a football perspective as well. So we felt early in the season, during the pre-season games, that this connection was positive, even if sometimes the team was a bit unbalanced. And layer after layer, I think the last one was in Augsburg. We felt that the dynamic was positive.
Jensen Sealed, how is he?
It's good. No problem. Yeah.
You brought in now quite a few defenders. I guess at the moment it's very much a case of the likes of Dan Ballard, Trey Hume, now Aldereti's come in, Reinildo. It's their places to lose because they played so well at the weekend?
I think we need competition to be consistent in this league, and we need competition for the squad. We need competition for the position as well, because I think we'll need, because of injuries, because of suspension, but probably because of different style of play, we'll have to face different options in our squad, and it should be the case for the back line.
And in terms of that competition, still lots of speculation about more players coming in. Where are you at the moment on that? Are there new faces still to come?
We'll see. One week to go. We'll see at the end.
Burnley, then tomorrow your first test away from home, but familiar opponents from last season. Do you expect a very different game from Burnley as to the test that West Ham provided?
Yeah, so it's always a different story. They enjoyed a really strong season last year. They were really consistent, hard to beat. They conceded few goals, and they were always well organized. So I don't think it will be different for the next game. And they still have many threats to score goals. So it will be different because against Tottenham they changed their system. They might change or they might keep the same one, but at the same time we'll have a different team with players who played last season, but with new players as well. So it's always a new story.
New story, but the 3 goal scorers last weekend were all players that played for you last season. So that must be very, very encouraging for you that those players can step up with this new group.
Yeah, absolutely, and we need these players to keep the consistency of the project, and they showed first of all that they were able to manage this new level, but at the same time to keep the legacy of our previous season.
Now last season, of course, the game at Burnley was probably best remembered for penalties. Have you established who is taking penalties this season?
Yeah, and it will be a surprise for you.
And you feel confident that this season they will be?
Yeah, it will be positive this season, sure.
Finally, players leaving, can I ask about the likes of Paveda, Bahar, Pembele, those players that you, Bruce, said that you're looking to try and move on?
Yeah, it's the flow of this transfer window is always a bit weird. Sometimes it's really slow. Probably next week, many movements will appear. So we'll have different options. They want to leave. They want to have game time next season. So we'll see.
Do you feel confident you will be able to move them on?
Yes, I hope so.
And in terms of loans as well, now you've got these bodies coming in. Is it more likely that players like Triantis, maybe Seal, will go on loan this season?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible.
Hi Régis. Just going back to the Burnley game last season and that incredible finish, Wilson Isidore, those penalty misses. Will he get the chance against Burnley to put things right this time around?
We don't know. Football is unpredictable, and I repeat, it will be a new story. And I don't know if he missed these two penalties or if the goalkeeper made two brilliant saves, and I think it was the case with even the psychologist background, and it was really positive, really good. So this goalkeeper left, so it won't be the same story. And for Wilson, he made a good start, scored last week, so he's in a good spirit.
How pleased were you to see Isidore and my end of both score? You know, always pressure on attackers to hit the ground running when you get to the Premier League.
Yeah, I think it's like a reward for them because they worked really well during this first part of the season. With it's not a new competition, but it's a new story, and you have to reset, and they did really well. Wilson had a small injury, so didn't train the full pre-season, but was ready for the first fixture. So I'm happy with them.
There's been some reports around John Lasumi, not sure of the pronunciation, but can you give us any insight? Is that close to happening? And if you aren't able to bring in another defender, are you happy with who you've got at the moment?
We still want to reinforce the squad if it makes sense for the balance. So I think it's still possible in the back line if we find the right player with the right level, with the right mindset to reinforce the squad. We still have one option maybe, but if it's not the case, we'll stay like that.
And finally, in attack, does that still apply as well with Abdul Fattah? That's another name that's been talked about as well from Leicester City.
Yeah, many speculation, which is positive for everyone. Same answer, I think. If it's possible to reinforce the squad with the right profile, we'll move forward. But it's still it's not just our question. The question of the player, the question of the club. So we'll see 1 week more.
Thank you.
Afternoon, Régis. Plenty of Sunderland fans will have been celebrating after Saturday. So what does Régis Bris do after a game where the adrenaline will be quite high on the Saturday evening?
Saturday evening?
Yeah.
I don't remember. But the day after, it was the usual routine, I would say, because it was a good start, and it was really positive for everyone, but it's still 3 points, and we'll need 42, 43, 44 points. So good start, but still a long way to go. So the day after, it was the analysis, it was a new training session and a full week to prepare, and we are in this mindset.
The midfield three covered a huge amount of distance on Saturday. I think they impressed everyone who was watching at the cinema. Like, how impressed were you with Granit, with Noah, and with Javier Diarra as well, in terms of how quickly they have gelled together?
Yes, when we planned the squad for the recruitment perspective, I think it was really important in our head to find players able to run, because the demand of this league is really impressive at that level. But at the same time, you have to run, but smart runs. It's not just always running everywhere. So the balance at the minute is very positive, with two young, powerful runners, good footballers as well, and a more experienced player behind them, able to manage different tactical problems, to help, to give advices, and I think this balance worked well for that game. But I repeat, we'll have another problem in Burnley, and then after that, 36 others.
You broke that record we were talking about last week. No promoted team had won before October last season. Sunderland go and do it this weekend. Leeds as well went and did it. I wonder what the next target is.
Just the next game. So the next problem and the next challenge is in Burnley. So we'll do our best, and if it's possible to win, we have to win if it's possible, because we'll have a strong opponent. They will they will be well organized, and I think they'll have this fighting spirit to open their Premier League as well. So it will be a tough challenge.
Just very finally, I don't know if you've seen this, but there was Twitter and X account Mexico who have decided to choose to support a European team, a random European team this season. Sunderland, they have chosen to follow hugely. So Mexico is entirely behind Sunderland this season. I wonder how you felt about that.
I think it's positive for the energy. If we can find support, it's better than the opposite, I think. Yeah.
Thanks, Régis.
Hi, Régis. Good afternoon. Dan Ballard kind of picked up where he left off at the end of last season. He was so important for you getting promoted. He was outstanding at the Stadium of Light last week. How impressed have you been with him and his step up? And where do you think he can go in terms of his level?
Yeah, I'm not surprised by his performance, because he showed last season during the playoffs that it was possible for him to reach that level. So for me, it's not a surprise. The main challenge for him is to repeat the same performance week after week. So it's the consistency, and it's always one of the main problem. We have many talented players, no problem for that. I think we can find a good connection between them, but the main challenge will be the ability to repeat, and it's not the same story. We'll have other problems to solve. So for Ballard, I think it would be the case, but it would be the case for everyone in the squad.
You'll go into this game high on confidence after such a great performance. Burnley have had a disappointing start, but they're at home for the first time this season. Do you think that almost makes them more dangerous with a point to prove?
Yeah, I think it's always dangerous in Premier League. So it will be the case again. And to be fair, Burnley lost against Tottenham, but they were not weak. I think Tottenham were really clinical, and so they will be ready. And I don't expect anything from them. So it's about us, the way we'll play this game, with the same ambition, the same desire, the same togetherness. Otherwise, we'll be punished, because this league is like that.
Thank you. Good luck.
It was a big, huge, memorable day for the football club last Saturday. Obviously, everyone was at pace to point out it was only the first game, it was only the start. But do you think there's value in what happened last week, and just seeing the stadium so alive, and the new players seeing what it was like when the stadium's so alive, and everybody understanding what it's like when Sunderland win a game in the Premier League?
Yeah, there was a good connection with last season, to show how loud can be this stadium, these fans, and but we need to win, because otherwise the atmosphere will be a bit different. It's always the case. So this connection was really positive, and it shows that we can have a huge support from our fans, and at the same time we have to play at that level to deserve this atmosphere. So it's a new challenge. We'll have another challenge away. I know our fans will be present in the stands, but the most important thing is to play the best football as possible.
You said after the match last week, you said when you've got a chance to win, because it won't always be possible. Is that the way a promoted team has to live their life in the Premier League?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think we'll face any weak teams. So it's always a tough challenge, and sometimes we'll face teams with players who can decide to win the game. So obviously you can't face this problem. So it will happen for sure. So if it doesn't happen, and it's 11 v 11, I think the challenge is achievable, and it was the case against West Ham. So it was really positive to win this game because it's not easy. Yeah.
Régis, the goals you scored against West Ham were all were very aesthetically pleasing goals, and tactically you were very good. But in such a league where, bridging on what Simon said, where every point, every win is vital, sometimes I presume you'll have to win ugly. How do you instill that to your players when, of course, normally you want them to play in such a good fashion?
It's good to win like that as well. No problems. 3 points are 3 points. Yes, because it's always the question of connection with the opponent, scenario, momentum. Many things can happen in football. But if we stay organized, always hard to beat without giving too many gifts to the opponent, at least it's still 0-0. So many things can happen from that point. And it was, I think, if we are looking back to this game against West Ham, the first half was balanced, and we conceded 2 chances. We created maybe 1. So because we were able to make it hard to score for them, we were still 0-0 at the end during the halftime. At the halftime. So for the second half, it was a new story because we don't know. Sometimes just one event can change the dynamic, the momentum. And because football is really unpredictable, sometimes the referee, sometimes it's a player can make a bad decision. Is it our players? Is it the opponent? We don't know. But we were still in the game. So I think the main objective is to stay consistent. And after that, we can enjoy, we can find a solution to shift the momentum.
You mentioned that your focus is, of course, on Burnley, the next game. But do you look at groups of fixtures in this league and think where you'd like to be at certain stages, and do you have targets for certain points of the season?
No, it's hard to manage like that. I think it's always game after game. Otherwise, these predictions are wrong, and it doesn't work.
And just finally, given that you've brought in so many new signings this summer so far, how important have the established leaders in this group who are already at the club being and integrating the new players into the squad?
So, 2 dynamics. The first is our players from the last season. They were really positive with the new signings, and I think it was the case last season. Was it at the beginning or during the winter transfer window? New players were really welcome from the others, and it's a really strong point from this team. And the second one is the connection from the new players. Do they want to connect with the squad or not? And in both ways it worked well.